If you have a glaze mishap, a hammer and chisel are handy tools to get rid of your mess. Go outside to the cage, and if it's locked, have an instructor open it for you. Grab your chisel, point it at an angle, and hammer away. You're going to want to use the tip of the chisel, not the whole thing. You just want to get just underneath that glaze, just barely underneath it, and maybe at like a 45-degree angle. You definitely don't want to hammer straight down because you'll split the kiln shelf. Yep, use that tip right there. I'm just going to repeat the process and knock off all the little glaze chunks. It may take some time, but it's very rewarding, very satisfying work. You also want to make sure to keep that kiln shelf on a table or a garbage can, like a plastic table with legs, something that has some give to absorb the shock. So this is a good example of what not to do. Here you can see the glaze interfused with the kiln wash. You know, at first I think that this looked okay, like it was all covered up with kiln wash, but that glaze, after multiple firings going through the kiln, the two interfuse, that glaze continues to melt beneath the surface of the kiln wash, and you start to scrape it away, and you can see how much glaze there is underneath there. In fact, if you look right here, I was scraping away at this shelf trying to get that glaze out of there, but you can see just how much it's eaten through. It's eaten through almost halfway through the shelf, and that caused this shelf to fail and break as I was scraping away at it. So kiln wash over the glaze, big no-no. After you're done scraping your shelf and you've got all the debris cleaned off, the next step is to kiln wash. Believe it or not, this is kiln wash. I don't know what all this schmutz is on here, but it's always good whenever you see a bunch of schmutz on a bucket or whatever to wipe it off, wipe it clean so that that dusty gunk doesn't get up into the air and into your lungs. Lo and behold, kiln wash. If you look inside in this bucket, we already have a brush. Sometimes that's the case, sometimes it's not. Sometimes this kiln wash is pretty well mixed up. In this case, I can just take my brush and swirl it around, make sure it's all off of the bottom like a glaze. You want to get every constituent mixed up into suspension so that you're getting all the goodies so that the kiln wash actually does its job. So if I have to, I could get a whisk or a spatula and really mix this up nicely. But in this case, I think we're pretty good with just the brush swirling it around because I'm lazy. I don't want to dirty up another instrument. So it's going to go with this brush right here and get off the excess. And now we don't have to rewash the entire shelf. We only need to kind of touch up. So again, like with the process of using the hammer and chisel, I'm just going to use the corner of this brush and just kind of touch up some of these areas where the kiln wash has flaked off or where I knocked it off when I was getting all that nasty glaze off of this shelf. And again, I'm not kiln washing over existing glaze because we saw what happened in that previous segment. Pop quiz for you, all you students. See this kiln shelf right here? What's wrong with this kiln shelf? There's a number of things. I'm going to flip it over. What do you see that's wrong with this? Take a minute, take some notes, write some comments below. What's wrong with this kiln shelf? I don't know. I think I'll just put it right in the kiln, fire my nice 1,000-hour piece in this glaze kiln that I spent 1,229 hours on, but I'm rounding down just because I don't want to brag. And I'm just going to put this in the kiln right over top of my beautiful piece. What do you think might happen? So if you look closely, you can see right there is a big chunk of glaze that still needs to get removed. All the other ones got removed pretty good. Looks like someone used an angle grinder on this to remove little bits and pieces. That can work if you're super industrious. I also want to note, look, kiln wash on both sides of the shelf. This is a no-no. It's always a no-no because this stuff has a tendency to flake off in the firing, and that's going to drop into your beautiful 1,297 hour piece that you spent 1,297 hours on. And we don't want that because it's going to ruin your piece. So we need to just use this for bisquing from now on. So we kind of have a half useless shelf, unfortunately, unless someone puts it in and makes it totally useless and ruins your 1,297 hour piece.